Good evening, Fernwood. It is your antediluvian Aquarian Neil, and it's time for us to go antiquing with another episode of Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman. We are in the first episode of 1977 from January 3rd. We had an enormous and emotional New Year's Eve week. So let's take an overview of that, and then let's look at the New Year's Eve party. Starting with the Hartmans, Tom has been much more desperate for money, and it looks like he's not going to be able to pay the mortgage on the house. The owner of the RV lot told Tom that his sales had been slipping ever since he started hard selling customers. Also, Tom got a late night call from May Olinsky, with whom he had an affair last year. She's coming back to Fernwood next week. On the other side of the bed, Mary is less worried about that than the money that Tom is spending. Mary has also been ambivalent about a sex survey that's been sent to all of the women of Fernwood. Tom found the survey and took offense that Mary did not answer the question about whether she had reached a peak sexual experience with her partner, and then got offended when Mary admitted that she wasn't sure if she'd ever had a peak sexual experience. And in case you don't know what a peak sexual experience is, Mary is not sure if she's had an orgasm. Next door with the Haggers, Loretta and Charlie have been making whoopee ever since they were reunited on Christmas Eve. Also, the late mobster Sue had set up a recording session for Loretta in Dayton, and she takes the trip on her own. While at the bus station, Loretta is accosted by a stranger, and after a bar fight, Loretta has lost her memory and the stranger takes her away. Over at the Shumways, George's return starts with him taking all of his worldly belongings and donating them to the Bogaziti cult. Martha reached out to the deprogrammer Montgomery Monk to try to bring George back to normalcy. With regard to the Gimbles, it's no secret that Garth has been beating Patty and the violence is escalating. She finally called the police on him, but they were ineffective at best. Mary stopped by their house with the offer of a magazine that talked about battered wives and suggested that Pat should fight back. And when Garth pushed her around, she finally did fight back. And then throughout the week, there has been a mysterious skywriter who has been leaving messages that people are pretty unclear about. When you put that message together, it reads, "Foreplay is fair play," and most of the town don't know what this means. And last Friday night was New Year's Eve. The motto on Mary's wall read, "If you're not happy, don't tell anyone." But I think it's time to tell everyone what happened that episode. A disoriented Loretta is brought to a diner called Lou's Place by her abductor Jake. A friend of Jake's goes on a rant about how Loretta is a slut, with the result of Lou kicking out both of the troublemakers. In her haze, Loretta wonders if she really is a slut, and then she borrows some makeup so she can clean up and comes out with an entirely new personality, Lulu, and Lulu is ready to howl. Inspired by the Fernwood skywriter, Wanda and Mary have a talk about female sexual pleasure. Wanda told Mary that she finally had an orgasm or a peak sexual experience, and that she can teach Merle how to get there. Mary, on her side, is a bit more uncomfortable with the conversation. They're interrupted by Philip and Patty, who tell them that Garth ripped up all of Patty's clothing, turned the water hose on her, and locked them out of the house. Martha gets a visit from Mary while Montgomery Monk works on deprogramming George. Monk's problem is that it's difficult to turn someone who is very at ease, like George, into someone who is more irritable and angry almost all of the time. That is Montgomery Monk's definition of what it means to be normal. And we end with a party at the Hartman residence, and Mary is being the most gracious host, but no one is in the mood. Patty is still in shock over getting kicked out of the house. Charlie is missing Loretta, and he doesn't even know that she is missing. Kathy hates being pregnant. Martha is at her wit's end about George. Annie reveals that she's going to be leaving Fernwood for at least a couple of weeks, but possibly longer, to stay with her son and daughter-in-law. As the countdown to the new year begins, Tom busts in and he is drunk. He announces that he has been fired, and at the beginning of 1977, Mary is at a complete and utter loss. Everyone, that was a lot of stuff last week. I can't imagine where we're going to start today, so why don't we find out?
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Dad? Can I have $3 to go to the movies? They're having an Anne Margaret festival at the Strand. One I've never seen. Bye Bye Birdie.
$3 for the movies?
Yeah. $1.25 for admittance and $1.75 for a tub of popcorn and a large soda.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm temporarily out of cash. Listen, why don't you ask your mother to look in the cookie jar for some extra change, huh?
Oh, see, we eat cookies, so she doesn't keep anything in the cookie jar. See, we don't drink tea, so she keeps it in the tea canister.
Oh.
What's wrong with my tea canister?
Honey, Heather needs a couple of dollars for the movies.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. $3 to go to the Strand and see Bye Bye Birdie.
With Paul Lynde? You know, Heather, you can watch him on the Hollywood squares for nothing.
But I want to see Anne Margaret as a teenager.
Sweetheart, I don't think Anne Margaret ever was a teenager. Okay, Heather, okay. Here's, $2. One.
Mom!
Heather, no tub of popcorn, just regular size, and no soda. You'll run out for water, okay? It'll give you something to do when the show gets very dull.
But, Mom, what's a movie without a tub of popcorn? Here, finish it.
She's just getting very spoiled, Tom, that's all.
I can't even afford to give my daughter $3 for the movies.
Oh, Tom, she doesn't want the $3. She doesn't need the $3. She needs her father. And that's what she has again now. She has her father. I mean, I'm sorry. I know how bad you feel about this money problem, and it's really hard, but I just have to tell you that deep down I'm really happy for us. I mean, we're getting back to us again. It's going to be a wonderful new year, Tom.
Yeah, some happy new year, huh? We're going to be bankrupt by St. Valentine's Day.
Oh, Tom. Oh, I love you. I love you.
Mary? What? You're awfully cheerful. What's the event?
A funeral. Tom just threw away all of his credit cards. Oh, you know what I just realized? That unless we cut them up, they stay good forever. Pat, do me a favor. Get me a scissor. There's one right in that drawer over there, okay? Get two of them. You can help if you want.
I envied you so much working out your problems together. It's something I never had. Garth worked out all our problems.
You mean to tell me you never had a say about anything?
Well, he didn't think I was any good at it, and I guess he was right because my mother used to tell me that all the time, too. She always said I was too much of a dreamer to have a level head on my shoulders. Maybe if I'd been given a chance, I could have been good at lots of things. I mean, how did my mother know that when I was just a little girl?
You know, Tom, this is a wonderful lesson for us. We must always remember, always, to tell Heather that she is good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she will grow up to be like Pat.
Mary, come on, that wasn't nice. Look what you did.
What do you mean she heard me?
Yeah, she heard me.
Oh, my God. Pat! Pat! I'm sorry! I'm really sorry!
It's okay.
Hey, Mary, look, you shouldn't do that. I mean, we don't know for sure about Pat and Garth.
What are you talking about? Have you seen those bruises?
Honey, look, we don't know the whole story. I mean, the guy's got a lot of problems. How would you like it if your 14-year-old boy wet the bed every night?
Well, one thing for sure, I wouldn't feel like punching you.
Yeah, he's got a lousy job at the plant.
or kicking you or pinching you.
You just lost a terrific job.
And I certainly would never, ever knock your teeth
My
out.
God, Mary, being a breadwinner is not easy. There's a terrible amount of pressure. I mean, sometimes we just can't handle that,
Should we get into bed?
Huh? It's daytime.
I know. It'll be fun. We could pretend like it's raining out. You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. You go on. I'll just finish.
Uh-oh. I'll get it.
Telegram from Mr. and Mrs. Hartman?
Wait. Thanks a lot. Here, honey, you read it. I can't bear it. Go ahead.
I hope they don't return bounce checks and telegrams.
Oh, boy. Was it good news or bad news?
To be perfectly honest, I have no idea. May Olinsky is coming to town. What do you think?
97, 98, 99, 100. Okay, Mr. Shumway, break time is over. Back to work.
Oh, no. I was just getting rid of my headache from all that screaming.
Now,
Oh.
we must face the problem. Why did you drop out of society?
Oh, please. Couldn't I sit there next to the window and watch the sky writing?
Why did you drop out of society? Because you didn't want to face responsibility. That's why. You didn't want the dependence of your wife and children. You wanted to recapture the irresponsibility of your youth. Oh, George, you wanted to run amok. George, you wanted to run amok. Admit it, George. Yes, you did. You wanted to run amok amid the wicked denizens of irresponsibility under the guise of a newfound religion.
No, it's not true.
Admit it, George. Admit you're a defective from the human race. A fugitive from responsibility. George, admit you're a failure. Admit you're lucky that your wife and family even want you back. Can't escape responsibility, George. Nobody can. Don't you see that? Don't you see that? Responsibility is the food of life. It makes us grow.
I'm starving. I need real food. Please let me
If you
out of
don't talk
here.
to me, George, and open up. You can't make progress or have dinner. George, you gotta trust me. You gotta work together. George, don't you see that I care? I mean, I really care, George.
Food.
Not like you.
Food.
Leaving your family like that, so selfishly.
All right, I confess. Just give me a ho-ho.
Temporary loss of mind.
I said I should confess.
George, we need people like you on the assembly lines in America.
I'll settle for a lifesaver or even a stick of
George.
dentine.
George, you are the salt of the earth. No, George, I'm going to stay here and fight this battle with you, even if I have to go outside or send out to keep me going.
I'll go for you. I'll go down to Jack in the Box and I'll get you a great Big Mac.
Oh, no, George. Oh, no. You got to stay here until you're unprogrammed. But I'm going to send out, George. I am going to send out for a corned beef sandwich on rye toast. How about, George, a rare roast beef?
Oh, please, somebody help me. Somebody help me. Somebody help me.
A breakthrough! A breakthrough,
Oh,
George!
it's a breakdown. Oh.
No, George.
Oh.
A breakthrough. Knowing you need help is the beginning of being cured.
Food.
See now, 10 a.m. open the new Fernwood Shopping Mart. Speak about the local economic scene being on the upswing. 11 a.m. speech of the Oddfellows. Topic, how to be a politician and a regular guy. Oh, hi, darling. Fashion show.
Gone up with the chickens there, aren't you?
Oh, well, hurry up, Merle. We have quite a day ahead of us.
It's not even 8 o'clock yet.
Well, have you seen the agenda for today?
I haven't even seen my coffee.
Oh, well, go ahead and have your coffee and then go back upstairs and shower and shave. There are a few points in these speeches I want to talk to you about. See, I want to make sure that you state your case clearly, Merle.
You do, eh?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something about that. I'm not real worried about stating my case clearly there.
Mm-hmm.
You know why?
Why?
I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to them folks like I always do. I'm just going to talk the plain truth.
Merle, look, that was in the past. Now, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You see, I'm not all...
to talk to you about something, too, Wanda. You know, it seems like it's awful early in our marriage careers here for us to start turning our backs on one another in the bedroom. That particular area has always been real important to me in my life.
That's a fairly indisputable fact, yes.
Right. And we talked about it, if you recall, before we even got engaged. I told you that I couldn't really promise you that I'd be completely faithful to you, but I'd see what I could do about bringing most of my lust back here home to you.
Well, I remember the conversation as if it were
All
only
right,
yesterday.
well, I've been doing that. If you look at it, honestly, I've been doing it, but you ain't been buying.
It's not that, Merle.
Was it lost its excitement for you?
Oh, no. Well, it's just that, you see, being a mayor's wife, it takes an awful lot of time. In order to do the job properly, it takes a great deal of energy, and, well, I've been tired.
I understand that. Of course, I've been tired, too.
Oh, well, of course you have, darling. So let's put first things first, shall we? Oh, Merle, we can have a wonderful time being mayor of Fernwood. It's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me. Now then, Merle, if there are any little tasks you'd like me to perform, don't hesitate to ask. Oh, I find it all terribly exhilarating. Now then, a 12 noon fashion show. Merle, do you think I ought to wear tweed or chiffon?
Hey, Charlie, congratulations.
Art.
How you doing?
Thank you. That's mighty nice of you.
Yep.
Congratulations for what?
On your lovely and talented wife's new shot at superstardom.
Thank you.
Here she's making her first album down in Dayton. Wish her the best for Pat and I, okay?
Okay. Thank you. That's mighty nice of you. Yeah, she left for Dayton yesterday.
Must be great to have a wife that pulls her own weight. Doesn't complain and whine.
Yeah. I'm a pretty lucky guy. I figure I'm about as lucky as a coyote who lives in a climate where there's a full moon every night. You want that pear? I don't plan to eat it.
Sure. How does she like making the album?
Well, to tell you the truth, I really don't know. I mean, I haven't heard from her. I mean, she's probably busy, in the recording studio. They're very expensive in the recording studio. You don't waste time when you get in there. Especially if you got the creative juices flowing,
Where's she staying down there?
Dayton Holiday Inn. At least that's where she was supposed to stay. But I called last night and they said she never registered.
Hey, there's something strange here.
Something wrong with the pair?
No, with Loretta.
No. You don't know them recording guys. I mean, they spend money like it was water. I mean, they probably put her up at the Dayton Hilton or someplace like that, I ain't worried about that. Loretta can take care of herself.
I bet you there's a lot of guys who'd like to save her the trouble, though, Charlie.
Yeah, I guess. I don't worry about that, though. She's got a picture of me resting right next to her heart. It's my favorite picture of myself. It's taken for my graduation from Correspondence High School. That's resting right next to her sweet bosom. Garth, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Do you beat up on your wife?
Chuck, it's a funny world we live in, isn't it? If people don't have anything to talk about, they make things up. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. That's what I figured it was. I mean, that's what I figured. But I mean, what man would beat up on a lovely, loving wife like that?
I sure hope I don't look like that kind of guy.
No. Probably just cheap talk. You know, that's what they say. Talk is cheap. I guess that's what it is. I mean, you don't look like that kind of guy to me. You know, but I heard tell of guys just beating the life out of their wives.
Yeah. I knew a man like that once.
You did?
My father.
No. Yeah. Lord, that must have been hard on you, watching that going on. It's a wonder you turned out so decent.
Yeah, it sure is. It was a trial. My father hated my mother, and vice versa. But who holds grudges? Come on, Chuck, let's get back to work.
Yeah. You know, when I hear a story like that, I just can't help thinking about how lucky Loretta and me are. I mean, we really lead a charmed life, you know that? I'd trust Loretta anywhere.
Make it just a tad tighter, Lou, okay?
Mm-hmm. Just doesn't seem to fit, huh?
Oh, it'll do, darling. There, right there, that's it. That's good. Listen, I really want to tell you how much I appreciate you letting me wear your dead wife's clothes.
You know, you look more alive in them than my wife ever did.
Oh, Lou, what a sweet thing for you to say, Shug.
Well, it's pretty easy to say sweet things to you. You have such a loving nature.
Well, that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey there, hi, back usual, huh?
You bet you, Red Ryder. Hey there, Lulu girl. How about a draft?
Well, I don't believe I'll mind if I do.
That sure is a pretty sweater you got on there.
Thank you. And you hear that, Lou? See, Lou here borrowed this out of his last wife's trunk.
I haven't touched a thing of roses since she died. But I knew she'd like to have Lulu have them. The face of an angel.
Well, an angel that's flown pretty low sometimes.
Never. Excuse me, I gotta get a cake from the basement. Do you want to wash the bar for me, please?
Sure thing. Well, you been coming in here pretty regular lately, haven't you?
Yeah, I reckon I have since I had Fernwood dating around, you know.
Oh, no, that sounds real exotic. Fernwood, huh? Where the hell's Fernwood?
Oh, it's a little town south of here. It's built around an assembly plant.
Oh, yeah? What do they assemble?
Nothing near as well designed as what I'm looking at right now.
You Mac, you little bull turkey. I bet you say all them things to a gorgeous woman like me, right?
Hey, listen, you think maybe you and I could go out, on a proper date and all.
Oh, I imagine we could sometime. I'm still around. Things is, I'm kind of anxious to leave here. Move on. Place makes me a little bit nervous. Can't exactly remember what I was doing yesterday. Who knows what I'm going to be doing tomorrow?
Well, I ain't gonna ask you no questions. Because I know there's things we all want to forget. Come here, I want you to look at something. Come out here, man. Come here. Take a look out there, honey. Did you ever see a more beautiful diesel truck in all your life?
Woo!
Call her Gertrude.
Well, that is a fabulous diesel truck, and it's a real pretty name, too. You know something, Shug? You just might be my ticket out of this dump.
I'd like to help you out. What? You need a 20?
Wait a minute. Back it up, buddy, and put it in park. Now, what I got can't be bought, all right?
I don't mean anything like that. Just a loan.
Oh. Well, if it's a loan, I think think you and I are going to probably be real good friends.
You think me and you and I could go out and sit in the cab of my truck?
Oh, you want Miss Lulu to go sit in your truck? Oh, Mr. Slattery, I do believe that proposal sounds a little mischievous.
I'll get your coat. There is a cold winter chill out there.
Yeah. Sure is, if you ask me. It's colder than a witch's.
What's that?
Oh, just some old bald-headed man. I never seen it before anyway. I don't. Never laid eyes on him. Probably. I better not tear it up. Could be my daddy. Well, let's go, sucker.
All right.
Happy New Year? So it seems like perhaps a turning point for Tom. He doesn't have the $3 to send Heather to the movies to see Bye Bye Birdie. And that is a pretty memorable Anne Margaret appearance. If you haven't seen that, let's just put Bye Bye Birdie right up here. Tom doesn't have $3, and the first thing that comes to mind is how much it costs to go to the movies nowadays. And in 2021, tickets to movie theaters are getting close to $20. I bought a soda at a movie theater last week. They only had one size, and that was $8. And I drank about this much of it. So I probably won't be getting soda at the movie theaters anymore because I don't need giant sizes that I need to pay $10 for. This is a conversation between Tom and Mary about turning the spending around, and to be honest, losing this job for Mary seems like an opportunity to come together with Tom. Cutting up the credit cards isn't necessarily the end of the financial problems, but it is the start of repairing what's going on. And then they're greeted by a telegram which tells them exactly what they already knew just a few episodes ago, that May Alinsky is coming to town. Maybe Mary forgot it in the middle of the night. There's a guest in the household, and that would be Patty. Philip's probably also there, but he didn't show up today. It's clear that she's still a bit rocked, and for Mary to talk about Patty right in front of her was fairly insensitive, but we can see that she's traumatized. Well, at least she has somewhere safe to stay. And we see George's deprogramming, and I got distracted because I couldn't quite make out what was in the background, and I figured it out at the end, so I may have missed some details, but essentially Montgomery Monk is just torturing George to bring him back to, again, his idea of normalcy. George is starving and surrounded by ho-hos. That was what was in the boxes scattered throughout the room. I would assume that that was George and Martha's bedroom, which had been divested of all the earthly belongings last week. I mean, it seems like George is more like George today rather than just chanting around the room. I guess this will be an ongoing conversation about what it means to be normal. And then we see a scene with Merle and Wanda, and it looks to me like that is the set that was Dennis Foley's old apartment but redecorated. I might be wrong, but I feel like that is the case. In any case, Wanda is happy to be a politician's wife again and do all of the organizing, and Merle is unhappy about something in the bedroom. I'm not sure what, because Wanda theoretically discovered her own pleasure, so maybe she's giving attention to that, but it's really unclear what's happening there. Merle feels a bit abandoned. I don't know that looking at one person's pleasure, looking at Wanda's pleasure, means that Merle's pleasure is completely abandoned. I don't think that's really how it works, but apparently something's going on, and as talking frankly about sex is a little bit obscured on this show, it's not too clear exactly what's happening to me. And we smash over to the factory with Garth and Charlie talking together, and Charlie doesn't know what's going on with Loretta at all, except that she didn't check into the hotel that she was supposed to. And Charlie asks Garth frankly if he beats Patty and gets a denial. I wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest. However, it does allow Charlie to dig in just a smidge to get Garth's perspective on his life, at least. As I could have predicted, Garth had a family history of violence ahead of him. So it's the cycle, right? And maybe Garth needs some intervention to make him see what he is doing. Not that that means that I want Patty and Garth to get together, but if Garth doesn't realize exactly how he treats his wife, I don't know what redeeming there is for him. And maybe redemption is the wrong thing for me to be asking about, but if Garth is treating his wife that badly and traumatizing her, well, I want to be as three-dimensional with this relationship as possible, and really we have only seen Patty's perspective in this because she's traumatized, and that's fair. But Garth really has a problem that I don't want Garth and Patty to get back together. That's not what I'm suggesting, but Garth has a problem that needs to be addressed. He has his own trauma that needs to be dealt with. Speaking of trauma, we see Lulu over at Lou's place, and she is one day later settled right in, and Mac, the trucker, well, he's definitely taken a liking to her, and she's into that. He puts her jacket on, and she finds the picture of Charlie and doesn't recognize it at all. Maybe just an inkling, but it hurt that she didn't recognize him immediately. She didn't tear up the picture. It might be important. She's Lulu now, and Lulu has a journey that is yet to be seen. And everyone, that was our first episode of 1977. 1976 was an enormous year of episodes, and I'm looking forward to what's coming next. Maybe with a little bit of trepidation, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Thank you for antiquing with me, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.